Okay, does anybody have any idea what's going to happen in the NFC South this year? No, seriously, this is the most unpredictable division, and once again, was the worst division in NFL last year. I can't figure this division out whatsoever. What's going on, guys? Dick's Report here. Back to another video. Today we're talking about the NFC South and what each team needs to do in free agency. Alright, I'm not going to waste any more time. Let's start with the Atlanta Falcons. Okay, we need to talk about the 8,000-pound elephant in the room that is James Pierce Jr. The off-the-field issues that he had. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm not going to go over in this video. Just look it up and then come back, and then I'll tell you what is probably going to happen. I don't know if he's going to play for the Falcons again. I don't know if he's going to play in the NFL again at this point. He might not. And that would mean that the Falcons traded their first-round pick for one season. While it was a good rookie season by James Pierce Jr., it's one season. And a bunch of off-the-field stuff. Now, we knew he had character concerns going into the draft, and they still took a chance on him. And, yeah, it's not good when something like this happens. And I hate it, because you basically throw your life away doing something stupid like that. And it's just something where I don't understand how this continues to happen. How? I just don't know how. Okay? I'm at a loss for words for this. But like I mentioned, the Falcons do not have a first-round pick because they used it to trade up for him. This team, even with Pierce, they're going to need help on that defensive line. So no matter what, they need to improve the defensive line. At wide receiver, you need a number 2 to Drake London. That's it. You need to find a number 2 there. And you need to bring in competition for Michael Penix. Penix is going to be coming off a major knee injury after having many of those in college. And Kirk Cousins is going to be let go. And also, corner. A.J. Terrell cannot do it by himself. You need to find somebody else to help him out. They need to free up some cap space because $8 million in cap space. That's all they have according to Over the Cap. Now, can this team finally play to potential? Raheem Morris is out as head coach. In comes Kevin Stefanski. Now, Stefanski, we know how good he was in Cleveland, but we also know he didn't end on the best terms. What's going to happen with him? Can he overcome that, what happened in Cleveland last year, or is it going to linger into this year? I have no idea. But for Atlanta, it is so frustrating because this team should not be where they are. They have had so much talent, they've had so many chances to do something, and yet they have not been able to do that. And it frustrates me to all ends because it shouldn't be this hard. It really shouldn't. So Atlanta, can you finally, for once, play up to potential, stop disappointing fans, and just play good football? That's all I ask. Despite being the division winner and going to the playoffs, the Carolina Panthers have the 19th overall pick. That is the lowest pick that anybody in the division has. And it's still in the top 20. That's how bad this division was, everybody. But Carolina, that was a very good improvement. They needed that, alright? Bryce Young needed a season like that because Bryce Young, yes, he's still a little inconsistent. Yes, he hasn't played to the number 1 overall pick. But he showed a lot of improvement last year. In that game against the Rams, both the games against the Rams, he really put the team on his back. Got the win in the regular season and got them the lead late in the game. Now, while they didn't win the playoff game, he still did everything that he could to get the team to win. Now, that's something you can work with. I think it's an easy decision to pick up his 5th-year option and say, hey, go improve again. Go show us more improvements, maybe take us back to the playoffs, maybe win a playoff game, show us that you can be a franchise guy. You might see an extension come your way. So Bryce Young, when it looked like his career was dead in the water early in his 2nd year, he came back and he's been showing improvement. Now, what do Carolina have to do? Edge. Definitely need that. They have needed edge help for a few years now. On the offensive line, they still need to keep building that offensive line, especially with Ike Ekwonu suffering an injury last year. Tight end. None of their tight ends had over 30 catches last year. You need a safety net. Get a number one tight end. And just a secondary as a whole, that definitely needs help. J.C. Horn is a very good corner, but he's had problems staying healthy, and he can't do it by himself. Make sure you have people in that secondary that can help him out. For Carolina, getting to the playoffs this year was the first step. Now can they take that next step and maybe go on a run? I'm not saying they got to get back to the Super Bowl or anything, but maybe go on a run, maybe win one playoff game, maybe win two playoff games, get to the championship game. See what you can do this year. And for Bryce Young, just be more consistent and be more of a good quarterback. That's all you have to be. Just a good quarterback, and you're going to give your team a chance. Now, one of the free agents I did want to talk about, Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle had a great season, had 1,000 yards with the Carolina Panthers. He is more than likely not going to re-sign with them. I give it a 0.1% chance that he is back in a Panther uniform. So where's he going to go? That's all I really have to say. Where's he going to go? What team is going to give him a deal that he would be not smart for taking down? We'll see. I think the most surprising rookie last year was Tyler Shuck, because he's a second-round pick. Didn't expect him to do much for the Saints, but he played some good football for them, and it allows them to not really worry about the quarterback position this year. Now, whether he's the long-term guy or not, that remains to be seen, but for now, he's their guy, and it does help them out because this team definitely needs to improve. They need really a rebuild. Okay, they need a soft rebuild at this point. They need to figure out what positions need the most improvement and really figure out who's going to be long-term guys for them. One thing they got to figure out, Chris Olave, how long-term do you think he's going to be? Because he has dealt with some injuries, but he's still a really good player. Alvin Kamara, how much longer is he going to be in a Saints uniform? That's one thing, two things that they need to figure out. Another thing is they're over the cap again. Now, it's not as bad as it normally is. It's $11 million, so it's not going to be hard for them to get down to under the cap, but still, the fact that they are still dealing with this salary cap hell thing, yeah, they really need to figure out how to not be in that every single year. They have a top 10 pick. They have the 8th overall pick, so we'll see what they do there. In terms of positions of need, offensive guard, definitely one where they are going to need some help there. At the edge position, Chase Young, I mean, he's a serviceable edge rusher. Don't really have somebody else like that. And Cam Jordan is a free agent. And he's close to retirement at this point. How much longer is he going to play? Is he even going to play in 2026? That's a big question. Wide receiver, I did mention Olave, but even if he is in the long-term plans, still want to get some more wide receivers in that room. And then linebacker, Demario Davis is a free agent, and he's getting up there in age. Do you bring him back, or do you move on from him and get somebody else in that linebacking core? The Saints have a lot of decisions to make. Could they be a surprise team? More than likely not, but if they can just show some improvement and figure out where they go from here, that's a good step for them. We'll see what happens. Lavonte David and Mike Evans are both free agents for the Buccaneers. These are two players that have just been stalwarts on this team for so long. They've been lifelong Bucs, and who knows what's going to happen. Could they call it a career? Could they be back? Could they be with another team? All are distinct possibilities. For Mike Evans, his 1,000-yard receiver streak snapped at 11 seasons. His first 11 seasons, he had 1,000 yards. That's just insane. If you don't think Mike Evans is a Hall of Famer, you just are not paying attention. You're not paying attention to what he was doing, okay? It's hard to get 1,000 yards for the first 11 years of your career. It is hard to do that, okay? And he did that, okay? He is a future Hall of Famer. And David has just been a tremendous linebacker for them ever since they drafted him. So those two, we'll see what happens there. But for the Buccaneers, is time just running out for them at this point with the core? It definitely does seem that way. And what happens? What happens in the future? Because they just lost the division this year. And they did not play their best football towards the end of the year. I know all eyes are going to be on Baker Mayfield, but that's the least of their problems right now. For now, they have the 15th overall pick, and in terms of needs, I mean, linebacker is definitely one. I mean, like I said, Levante David is a free agent. I take a look at tight end as well. I know people are going to say, well, what about Evans? But Emeka Ibuka was drafted in the first round. I think they're going to be fine at receiver, but also the edge position. They definitely need guys that can rush the passer. And then offensive guard. I would definitely take a look at the interior of that offensive line as well. I mean, for the Buccaneers, it's just tough to figure out where their future is looking like. Do they decide to try to go all in? I don't know. I don't know what the Buccaneers are going to do. But one thing I do know, never count them out, because never count Baker Mayfield out. That's what I've learned. Alright guys, those are my thoughts on the NFC South. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Can Atlanta live up to their potential? Does Carolina improve? And what about the Saints and the Buccaneers? What does their future look like? Let me know what you think. And as always, I'll see you guys next time.